Hi folks, let's call this one Simracing Diary, and bear with me on this because it's going to be a bit of a ramble, but there is a point to all of this. You see, have you ever had one of those days, or possibly even full weekends, where just everything goes wrong? You know, in your normal life, but more specifically for us lot, sim racers, have you ever had that in your sim racing life? You know, where you kind of suffer sim racing fatigue. You know, you just get fecked off with it all and think, why do I bother? You know, and you forget, you know, just for the problems over that one day or weekend, you forget the months and years of absolute enjoyment that you got out of these amazing sims that we all get to muck around with. If so, let me know what you think in the comments. So yeah, like I said, I've just had a bit of a weird weekend, and I've got all this leftover footage, and I thought, what can I do with it? And you know, it came to me to make this video, and so I've got something to show for the weekend. If you're in the UK, like me in Norfolk, you've probably just gone for a weekend and been blown about a bit, because we've just had some huge storms over the weekend. 80-mile-an-hour gusts. There are trees down all over the place here. We've had power cuts, all sorts of things, you know, and miserable weather can sometimes be great for sim racing, can't it? Because, you know, you look outside and you think, oh, miserable weather today, can't get anything done, it's cold, wet. Great excuse for a day of sim racing. And also, because it's cool outside, it'll keep my PC nice and cool if I leave a window slightly open, and everything will run smoothly. But if you're a bit like me, you know, you're kind of already on a bit of a downer, because, you know, miserable weather kind of gets me a bit down a bit. I like the sunshine, vitamin D. Anyway, so then what you do is you build yourself up for a fall, right? So for instance, my mate Pete has just bought, hello Pete if you're watching, he's just bought all of the new R Factor 2 content, the IndyCar, the new BMW GT3, and of course Daytona. And he's been phoning me up and telling me, you know, how good it all feels. And so I get myself all revved up for this, and I'm thinking, yeah, I really would like to have a go at that content, but there are still a few problems with the AI. So you set yourself up for a fall, and you think, I'll just go and try one of the existing tracks, and I'll take a big track similar to Daytona, like Indianapolis, and I'll use the existing free content, i.e. the BMW GT1, and the BMW Class 1, and you go out, set yourself up for a race with the AI in Indianapolis, and then this happens. So I'm going to attempt to record this. This just happened. And there we go. Let's try that in slow motion. So the AI car here in black, all it has to do is touch the curb, get its tyres on the inside of the curb, and as it comes back off again, there you go, completely ridiculous. Happening for a long time, this sort of thing. You know, you think, oh, God's sakes. And so you think, okay, all right, calm down, I'll try it again. And then it happens again. So here we are again, watch the black AI car. It's going to just touch the curb and look at that. Just, what? You know, and you come out and you're like, oh, feck after R Factor 2. I'm not going to buy the new content. I haven't sorted out the AI still. Oh, you know, and you focus on all of the things that you already know that there's problems with, and you forget the fact that, hang on, last year I got that the Class 1 BMW for free. And when it came out, I was just driving it around Nordschleife on my own, and it just felt amazing. I even made a video on it in which I said, I'll be buying that new BMW GT3 version as soon as it comes out. You know, and you forget about all of that. And by this point, you're all disgruntled, and you're focusing on the wrong things, you know. And so then you just think, oh, swap to another sim. So you jump into Ultimate Blister 2 by Reza, you know. And by this point, I don't know about you, but I can, let me know what you think in the comments, I can never drive if I'm angry. You know, I just end up pushing too hard, and I crash and getting frustrated, and I get impatient. And even though, you know, racing's all about getting fast, you know, impatience doesn't help, you know, so it starts affecting your driving. So then this happens. So this just happened here at Cadwell Park in the Mini. I was spun on the corner coming around and just hit the tyre wall. And you'll see in a minute how much damage that has done. There you go. You can see the front of the car there. So if again, look at that. Quite a lot of damage to the front end. That's with the damage multiplier at 200% on full damage. And if I, there you go, you got a good view of the damage there. But you know, and then you're like, but you're thinking, hang on a minute, that is my fault there. That is my fault. So you try and calm down a bit. And you go, okay, right, I'm going to set myself up for a... I love the new Mini, and I love the Mini and the new driveline is what I meant to say. What they've done to the driveline in the last update. Mini feels fantastic. Power delivery, spot on, I love it. And so you think, right, okay, I'm going to set myself up for a race at Cadwell Park. And you think, oh, I love the fact that Autumn Blizzard 2's got a great version of Cadwell Park, because I love that track. And you spend ages practicing for it, and you think, you know, I'll make it interesting. It'll be a 15-minute race, and I'll go from dry weather to wet weather. You know, and you've done all your practice, and you're ready to go into qualifying, and then you think, hang on a minute. I know there are problems with the wet tyres compounds on some of the cars, and I actually haven't tested this on the Mini yet, but I think the Mini will be okay. But you think, I'll just try, and so you go out onto a wet track with wet tyres, and then you discover this. Okay, so I was going to have a race today with the JCW Minis. I've spent a lot of time today preparing for this. And I was going to have it changing from dry to wet weather. I don't think I'm going to bother now, because I've just done a load of laps on the all-weather tyres in the wet, because I wanted to check if the tyre compounds work for this car, because there's problems with the tyre compounds in Automobile 2. And I started off doing 149s, got down to 146s at best. It's with the all-weather tyres, all-weather. I've just changed it back to slicks, and I've just destroyed that time by about 2 seconds. I've got 144s. I'm faster on slicks in the wet, on a wet track, than I am on all weather. In fact, I've just got to check that I am actually... Did I actually change to all weather to slicks for this? Because I can't believe it. Yep, there you go. I'm on slicks. Well, a lot of time today prepared for that race, and now there's no point. So there you go. If you're going to race the Mini and it starts raining, don't bother changing to the all-weather tyres. You know, and then you're like, oh, bugger, sod AMS2, I hate AMS2, you know, and you get all disgruntled and upset, and you start getting this sort of attitude on. Well, that is that. I'm going down the pub. Right, so, and then there's a power cut, you know, or another power cut, because we've had lots of them over the weekend. And you just think, right, sod it, okay, I am going down the pub now. I'll cut my losses. I've just lost an hour's worth of footage with that last power cut and computer crash, and now I've got, you know, corrupted files in my Steam library because there was a crash and I didn't get shut down properly. And you think, sod it all. And you go down the pub. In the evening, you think, sod, I can't get anything more done today. And you have a few beers with your mates, because the pub's still serving, only they've got candles on, but the pumps are all still working, so they can still serve beer. And you have a nice time, and you forget about it all, and you come home, you know. And then the next day, you think to yourself, I'm being a bit of a prat here. One, okay, yeah, I know already that R Factor 2 has got problems with its AI, but if I look on the bright side, Studio 397 have just had a big cash injection, I assume, from Motorsport Games, and lots of good stuff is happening. We've got a new UI, and for once, it's a hell of a lot better. It's really working. And then you're thinking, I also know that they've just made a deal with F1. They're going to do officially licensed F1 content, and they're going to have simulators They're going to run a bunch of F1 are going to run their own in-house simulators, and they're going to use rFactor as a platform. And you're thinking, with all of this going on, I should be looking on the bright side, because it's maybe, I think it's a fair bet. I won't say safe bet, but a fair bet that the AI are going to be the next thing to be improved, maybe, or it'll be one of the things that will be improved this year. So cheer up, just, you know, go and enjoy it. So, you know, should I buy the content? Should I just go and enjoy it, racing online, and just enjoy it for what it is? You know, the great driving physics, all that sort of thing. You know, and then you come back to AMS2 and you think, well, hang on a minute. Yeah, I know that there are problems with the tyre compounds. In fact, the guys from Reza already told me they know about it and they're working on it. And seeing as Reza, if they find a problem, they do fix it and update it faster than any other company I can think of. So don't worry about it. It's fine. It'll be sorted. Do you know what? I'm having a great time in the Mini. I'm loving the new driveline, the way the driveline's working. I'm going to go and have a race with what's good and what works. So the dry tyres are fine. I'll go and have a 15-minute race there in the dry. You know, and you set yourself up for this race in VR, and you end up having the best time. I mean, really, really good time. You're really enjoying yourself, and then bang! Because the next day the winds get up again and there's another power cut, and you're just like, oh, for God's sakes. But by that point, you know, for instance, that's on a Sunday, and on the Sunday I have to give up at about 12 o'clock and get ready for running a jam session at the local pub. And you're worrying about that, and you're thinking, will there be power? And then suddenly the power comes back on. You're like, okay, maybe this will work. And you go down the pub, and apart from one 10-minute power cut, you end up having a great afternoon, playing some music with your mates, having a few beers, and doing stuff like this. You know, that evening you come home fully satisfied, you know, a bit merry after a few beers, and you've had a great time. And so the next day you're sitting and you're thinking about all of this wasted time, the video you're trying to make, the races you had over the weekend or tried to have, and how it all went wrong. And then you think, there was 10 minutes there, I was having such a great time. And, you know, a day later, all the power cuts have finished, the wind's died down a bit. And you start thinking to yourself, you know, every now and then I'll focus on the wrong bits of a sim, stuff that's not working, or I'm just having a bad weekend or just a bad day. But you forget about the months and years of pleasure and value, absolute value that you've got out of spending maybe £6.99 on a car in rFactor 2. You forget how many times you've enjoyed driving that specific car, or how much fun you've been having in Automobilista 2 or ACC or, you know, original Assetto Corsa or something like that. You know, have you ever had a weekend like that? You know, have you ever had these sim racing frustrations where you get properly down, but then you think, actually, no, we have a pretty good time as sim racers. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'm going to leave you, I don't want to waste all this footage, so I'm going to leave you with the 10 minutes of racing that I had at Cadwell Park in the Mini, where I was having such a good time just before the power went out, and you'll see how much I was enjoying myself. And obviously after that, of course, there's a power cut. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching, and, you know, please, if you enjoy my videos, you find them useful, please give us a sub. If you can give us you know, half a second to do that, and yeah, get back to me in the comments. Anyway, here is that race. Okay folks, so here we are in Automobilista 2 by Reeza Studios. I've just finished qualifying here at Cadwell Park, this wonderful UK track, and I've got it set to today's date, so we've got the winter foliage going on, all the trees are bare, it's a little bit cold, and we are in the Mini JCW. I've qualified in 8th position with a time of 1:33.580, so I'm very pleased with that. And I'm looking forward to a bit of racing here at Cadwell Park. I'll just quickly
15 minutes. You'll need to get on
go over with you with what's going on with my setup. We do have Jim, who's going to be, or crew chief rather. If you don't know about the crew chief app, get crew chief. I'll leave it a link to it in the description. Wonderful application. And we'll just have a quick look at the setup, what I have done. Because of this car being front wheel drive and having quite a lot of power going through those front wheels and them steering as well as driving, they do tend to get quite warm. And the default setup for the tyre pressures on this car is with the rears quite high. So I've taken that all the way down as low as it will go, which gives me more grip on the back end, but also makes a lot more heat through those rear tyres, gives me a much more equal spread. So I get a much more even spread between the heat in the tyres at the front and the back. And to counteract the fact that that makes the back end a bit too grippy almost, I've taken off all the rear downforce, don't really need it around here. Not a hell of a lot of high-speed sections, or at least for the speed of this car. And I've also brought the brake bias a little bit further to the rear, and also stiffened up by one click each, because there's not much you can do with the suspension on this car, the rear shocks as well. However, I don't want to lock those rears, so I've given myself 2 clicks of ABS, which is actually kind of 3. What I mean is, you can have 0 to 10 points of ABS in this car, but even at 0 the ABS is never completely off in this car. It's one of those cars where the ABS is permanently on. We've done nothing with the gears, not much you can do with them, but I was struggling to get out of certain corners, get the traction that the AI were getting out of certain corners, and of course they do change their setups, and I was noticing that I was able to brake into corners much later than them, turn in a lot easier, but I wasn't having the traction out, and I think it's because my differential was too loose, so I've stiffened that up from 80 to 140 Newton meters and given myself a couple of extra clutches. So I think that's helped. Let's see if it has. Let's go for 15 minutes of Cadwell Park.
15 minutes. You really need to get on with it. Get ready.
Can I get a good
Green, let's go, let's go.
start? Oh, not terrible there, but not great. Down at the 10th position, so we've lost 2. We've got a guy on our inside trying to get through. I should have mentioned I've also given myself a couple of clicks, extra degrees of steering, because there are a lot of really tight corners around this track. So I've done that just to reduce the steering input that I need to give in so much on the wheel, to turn the driving wheels more. We're racing at 118% skill level, or rather that's what the AI are at. We're on 0% aggression. I don't want them too aggressive because I am using full damage. Oh! Bollards going everywhere there as we go through the gooseneck. Yes, I am using full damage and also at 175% scaling. So, anyone gets too aggressive with us and starts bumping and grinding, we will be picking up damage. The power delivery now in this car since the last update, when they added the... Oh, we've just hit a bollard. They can do damage to the car. Question is, has it?
We think you might have gone outside of track limits there.
I think you might be right, Jim. Let's just see. Yeah, we have picked up a very, very minor 2 points of damage on the front end. We've got the Mini right beside us there. Just from hitting that bollard, so you can see how serious the damage is here. But tightening up that diff has definitely helped. Coming up to Park Bend now. braking nice and early to get the turn in. Staying in third as we go through tight to the inside as we come through Chris curves. Oh, a little bit of a wobble as we nearly touch the grass there. Lifting off through the gooseneck using all the curb on the inside as we come down to Mansfield. And yes, I am sticking with them out of the corners now. You can just feel the front wheels nudge that sausage curve there. We've just made a place. Can we keep it?
Well done, Paul. Nice move, mate.
Thank you very much, Jim. Oh, and 2 places. A little bit of a shuffle from the back end on the braking there, though. Got to be careful of that.
You're spinning your right front.
Car pitting there.
The leader has just done a 133.7.
Not quite sure what happened to him.
133.7.
Obviously had a bit of contact.
133.2.
Down the hill, at Park, up the other side. I'm braking a little later this time for Park Bend. Let's see if I can set us up for the Chris curves. Touch of the brakes. Why did I change down to third there? I didn't need third. Hard on the brakes through Mansfield. Absolutely loving the fact that this track is in Automobilista 2 and what a great job they've done of it as well. Looks amazing, especially the life around the edges of the track there where you can see all of the crowds and stands, and also absolutely adoring the new G-Forces available in cockpit cam in VR. If you want to know more about what my settings are, my last video you can have a look at for the new camera settings. But it's just so added to the immersion so much, especially around a bumpy track with elevation changes like this. And Cadwell's one of the best tracks for elevation changes next to somewhere like Bathurst.
Behind is now 0.7.
Got to be careful as we come around the Chris curves there, because it's the easiest place to really cook that inside left, or the front left rather. And yes, we are cooking it up to 114, but only 98 on the other side in terms of temperature. And I've just lost my way there quickly. I'm trying to look at tyre temperatures. .72 on the back rear left. Got to try and look after that front left. And that little misdemeanor has cost me a lot of time.
That lap time was 134.8.
Although we are back into 8th position, the front of the pack is getting away from me there. Let's see if we can catch them up. Having a look at the gazebos and all the crowds over there. So much life around this track. Oh, 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 oh! Being careful whilst rejoining so we don't get hit. Came up with a little bit of rear end lock up there. Braking too hard. And I'm all over the shop now. Down to 12th position. What am I doing?
Okay, Paul, you're locking your rears a lot. We're halfway home. Fuel is tight. You might need to save some fuel to get to the end.
Right, can we make those positions back now? Don't lock those rears. And oh, the tartan car, they're right beside us. We're
Great move. Keep it up.
neck and neck, side by side, but we've made the place. That was the intention, and we've seen it through. Now up into 11th place. And I'm leaning into the corners to counteract the G-forces the camera is simulating for me. It's fantastic. And obviously that's where the power went out. So yeah, but you can see how much of a good time I was having. Once again, let me know what you think in the comments, and if you enjoy my channel, then please, if you want this channel to survive, do me a favor and hit subscribe. May seem like a small thing to do, but it enables me to make more videos for you. By hitting that button, you can help us thrive. So let's keep this channel alive. Don't cost nothing, don't take no time. Come on now, keep this channel alive. Please hit subscribe. Please hit subscribe.